So last week was pretty weird, right? You know, like you're just kind of like doing your own little videos, and then like I don't know. I think when you're pure blunt with your mind and what you think of things, it gets looked at a certain way in relation to the topic. You know what I mean? Like, what was I watching the other day? I was looking at, there was a time there where I talked about guns in my video, do you know what I mean? And the video before that. And what I noticed about the media is that, like, if something happens on YouTube or the internet world, the political world will take it up, and then the politicians act it out in what they're doing when they're acting, you know what I mean? So it's like when something happens on the YouTube world, the politicians then would, like, act like the YouTubers. It's weird. It's something I notice in the realm of the world and how it's all connected, you know what I'm saying? So basically, what was I looking at? As I was saying there, like, and then I did another video after that talking about guns and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And I noticed the day after I talked about the guns, at the Rifle Association in America, Ted Cruz and Trump were speaking at the rally. And I was kind of looking at it like, what's going on here, do you know what I mean? So, like, I noticed those kind of things happen. You'd say something in relation to a thing, and then the politicians will take it up, but they will, like, package it in their politician way, you know? And they'll speak it out in a way that's very politician-y, and then it's like, yeah. I think when you're playing ball as well, and you're, like, not in your power, they would sell it to you like, oh yeah, it's all good, you know what I mean? Well, I don't know, ever since I put up those few videos of doing the reviews and being bluntly honest about stuff, it's after getting a bit of a different reaction and stuff. But the way I look at it is, like, he would die tomorrow, do you know what I mean? Like, so, anyway. So as well in relation to the wrestling reviews and all that stuff, and if you look back at my channel at the start of my FIFA videos, the wrestling world were using that as information to help their storylines. I voluntarily helped because I liked helping in relation to that, you know what I mean? So yeah, they use some of the content as a leeway thing from my videos to put their videos out there. Then all of a sudden, Steve Austin came back then for WrestleMania in relation to a story against Kevin Owens. And then Sami Zayn had that whole thing with Johnny Knoxville as well, you know, that whole storyline. That was really, the fuel for that too was how the reaction went to how that went down. Because on a weekly basis, I was reacting to that content, you know what I mean? And so like the whole Johnny Knoxville thing, that was like in correlation with the story because there was something there to it. Like for example, when Sammy Knoxstred, for example, when I had that down on my video, and I was like, it added something, a bit of meaning to it, you know what I mean, to what was going on. It did, and I know people now are going to twist that whole thing and make it a different thing, but I hope you don't. I mean, the main thing that I want to do is help out, but you know, and if I was to leave, again, then you can do all the squashing you want on the shows. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not getting paid for it, you know what I'm saying? So, like, anywho. So, let's go on to the reviews. The reviews, anyway, you know what I mean? On Raw, Miz was talking, you know what I'm saying? Heyman announces Reigns will be defending the championship against Riddle. Also, I want to take the cards out of my thing because I have nothing to show, you know what I mean? So, let's just leave it there. Heyman announces Riddle will be defending the championship against Reigns will be defended against Riddle. Riddle then interrupts Miz and Heyman, and Miz demands respect. Riddle asks how Miz's Riddle says Heyman talks a lot and says nothing. Heyman is a very wise man, though, to be fair, like, you know what I mean? In relation to the wrestling world and the world in general, you know what I mean? So I don't know about that, like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, Heyman says Riddle can't beat Roman Reigns. I thought the same thing, really, like, do you know what I mean? Well, the Usos come out and Heyman throws the mic away. The Street Profits come out with Riddle. Montez Ford then went against Jimmy Uso. Yeah, that's been going on for a while, hasn't it? The whole Usos versus Street Profits thing. I don't know if you can mix another tag team in there in relation to something, or, you know, have something intertwined, you know what I mean? Seth Rollins had an interview. Rollins said what he said last week he meant. Remember, Rollins was saying that, what did he say again? He was basically saying bad things about Cody and his family and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So he's in the role of a thing there, you know? Rollins says Cody Rhodes is a virus. Corona and all that crack, you know what I mean? Hey, free delivery for, I don't know. Seth says adapt or perish. That's true. You have to adapt, because if you don't adapt, it can go a different way. You know what I mean? But like, you know, you could die tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Seth says he takes pride in what happened last week. Do you know what I mean? Seth says AJ lacks a killer instinct while holding the hammer. Do you know what I mean? So when Seth basically was talking all the negative stuff about the human, AJ attacks Seth then and says, you know, that's for Cody or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So AJ is siding with Cody in the story against Seth and all the boys. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Dana Brooke then went against Becky Lynch and says she was robbed and cheated from Money in the Bank and continues to attack Dana. Asuka comes out to attack Becky and Becky retreats. Yeah, the Asuka Becky thing makes sense because of the things in the air, you know. Alexa Bliss then she came out then, like, you know, and she went against Liv Doudrop and Nikki ASH, and Alexa and Liv won it. I don't know what the story is there, but yeah, it was a match for the sake of a match, I guess. Kevin Owens then went against Ezekiel, and KO gets disqualified for being out of the ring. Ezekiel speaks to the Zeke Freaks and wants to be in Money in the Bank. Yeah, that's a good thing he has there, Zeke Freaks, like, you know what I mean? Ezekiel and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So, hey, come on. Ezekiel says his brother Elias is coming to Raw next week. Imagine there was like a twin, the two of them are coming out. Yeah, weird. I don't know. WWE walk with Elias. That's a thing. I don't know. Cedric Alexander went against Apollo. Went against Omos. And you know what I mean. Well, as you know, like in the whole realm of the story, I was siding with Cedric a little bit in relation to it because of the phone stuff. But no, he went against MVP in this one. So MVP went in with Cedric, and MVP pinned Cedric. And then Omos went into the ring and threw Cedric out of the ring because you're sending a certain message there in the way you're narrating that. Do you know what I mean? So MVP says once they're done with Cedric, they can focus on Omos. MVP wins and Omos throws him out. AJ says what Rollins said to Cody last week was disgusting. Like, I mean, you know, the whole Cedric thing, yeah, I can see why some people don't really gun full on for being a wrestler or anything like that. Because if you just don't have the, I guess, the total package of a thing, then you will just get fucking squashed, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? So I'd rather be here reviewing the things, you know what I mean? And because, you know, no one can really do that then because you don't have to deal with any types of tyranny that is out there. So, yeah. So AJ says what Rollins said to Cody last week was disgusting, and Seth says he's in AJ's head. Okay, right. He wants to dedicate his victory to Cody Rhodes, you know what I mean? Because Seth Rollins won. Oh yeah, Seth Rollins was being the kind of cheeky heel when he was saying he wants to dedicate the victory to Cody because he won the thing, you know what I mean? Apollo Crews sent them a video package, and then there was an ad that came up for Ms. and Mrs. saying it was the highest rated original series telecast in the last year on USA. Fair play, not that crack, you know what I mean? Riddle went against Ciampa, and Riddle wins, so that's the thing that happened between the two of them, you know what I mean? It was a match and stuff. It's very clean the way the fucking thing is packaged, you know what I mean? Like the music, and I wish it was more like, you know what I mean? More like rock on, you know what I'm saying? But the Judgment Day say they are tired of playing nice, you know what I mean? And then Rhea Ripley says she will eradicate Bianca Belair from existence, you know what I mean? I was saying last week Damian Priest would be a good pick for the talking thing. But Rhea done well there in that whole promo package that they done in the backstage thing when they were talking. You know what I mean? Theory then was training in the back because he was getting ready for the pose off against Bobby Lashley. I mean, it's kind of clear that Bobby Lashley is going to like win that. I mean, he does look like a fucking, you know, Greek god when you look at the body, like, you know what I mean? But then Theory, like, you kind of know how it's going to pan out before the thing is going to pan out. You know what I'm saying? Theory says he will prove to Bobby he is not on his level. Yeah, anyway. Alpha Academy come out. Chad Gable went against Mustafa Ali then, you know what I mean? And Chad Gable wins it. Rey Mysterio went against Veer Mahan, and Veer Mahan wins it. So not even the protector of Dominic can beat Veer at the minute. Because like Rey is the father of Dominic in the whole thing that's happening, you know what I mean? So that's Theory is giving a TED talk then, you know what I mean, when he's walking down the ramp because he has the microphone and all that stuff. It looks very TED talky because they said it was like a TED talk, you know what I mean? Theory then went against Bobby Lashley in a pose off, you know what I mean? Theory poses and then Bobby poses, double biceps and all that crack, you know what I mean? So Bobby wins it in the end, of course, you know what I'm saying? And then this is the part then when I was like, what's going on here, you know what I mean? Austin Theory squirts baby oil in Bobby's face and drop kicks him and takes a selfie. Baby oil? It's kind of random he had baby oil, right? No. But, yeah, there's always a meaning to stuff that happens, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? So, at this moment in time, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have a little sip of water, you know what I mean? H2O and all that crack, you know what I'm saying? So we went to NXT there now, you know what I mean? The Creed brothers went against Malik Blade and Idris Onafe. I'm with the Creed bros there and that whole thing, you know what I mean? Roderick Strong is judging backstage with Ivy Nile and the guy that's with him. I still don't know his name. My brain has not remembered his name in the thing, you know. The Creed have their own corner and everything. It's called the Creed Corner, you know what I mean? So that's a cool thing that they have, you know. There was a handshake then at the end of the match, I'm sure, and yeah. Indy Hartwell, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, they say they despise Toxic Attraction or something like that, you know. That Roxanne one is very smiley human. I don't know if you can package something around her that has to do with being smiley, but that's yeah, you know. Might be good for the character of the human, you know what I'm saying? Apollo Crews then was writing in his diary in the cafe, and he's there sitting down writing in the diary as he's having a cup of coffee or something. Time waits for no man, he's saying, you know what I mean? The guy says to Apollo Crews, there's a guy sitting across the way from him who was giving out to the waitress and being very rude to the waitress, and I was looking at the person that was saying that towards the waitress, and I was like, scratching my head as to say, I don't condone that at all, you know what I mean? If there's a waitress there that's like wanting to take your order for your food or your drink, you be respectful in the situation. You don't be kind of rude in relation to the thing that's going on, you know what I mean? So when I was looking at that, your man was being rude in the whole interaction with the other person as he was wanting his food or drink. So time waits for no man anyway. It's the whole thing that Apollo was saying in the mind, because the camera was on him when he was talking, and basically there was like an in the mind narrative talking that was happening as he was thinking, you know. So the guy says to Apollo Crews, get out of my face, because he was giving out to the waiter. Yeah, and then Apollo Crews like hits him, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at that and I don't know. I'm not really, I don't know, like, I condone the actions of Apollo Crews hitting the guy that was wanting to who was being rude to the waiter. But then again, the fact he like punched him, I was looking at the guy that was saying it, I was like, you know what I mean? My brain was like, in kind of two zones in that moment, because I know Apollo Crews has a way about him when he talks and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And he's been there a while as well, you know what I'm saying? So like, blah blah. Yeah, anyway, Tiffany Stratton then went against Fallon Henley then, you know what I mean? Wendy Shu comes out on a space hopper and puts confetti in Tiffany Stratton's face. Henley pins Tiffany, so that means Henley won against Tiffany, and Tiffany was the one. I was like, no, really? But alright, I'm kinda, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Bron Breakker was trying to give Cameron Grimes sympathy. Cameron didn't want it, and Bron issues a rematch with Duke Hudson. So yeah, in relation to the story, Cameron, I'm guessing, is going through stuff, and people are trying to give him emotional support, and his brain doesn't know how to comprehend it and take it in, you know. Zion Quinn went against Wesley. Yeah, I think you can understand why I was siding with Zion in relation to the story, but you know, they're both grand, you know what I mean? Wesley won, I think, in the end, you know what I mean? Lash Legend was highlighting her accolades and said she's going to get Alba Fire, you know what I mean? Joe Gacy then was with the Dyad in the backstage thing, you know what I mean? Fair enough. Nathan Fraser had a package and he takes the hood off. The Dyad went against Dante Chen and Javier Benel, and the Dyad win. So they had all the hoods and the coats and stuff, you know what I mean? Crowd then were chanting, we want wrestling, you know what I mean? Because I said they probably felt like they weren't getting a lot of wrestling. But hey, I'm not saying anything in relation to that. If you want to do your wrestling, do your wrestling. You know what I mean? Belt away, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to hold that back in relation to that. Belt away if you want to keep going with that, you know what I mean? That's you know what I mean? So yeah, keep that up. Because I know the mix of both of the things is a good thing to have in relation to a story. So if you have two of them coming together in a very powerful way, then you can have a good thing that you're putting out there with the brains that we have, you know. Sangale's backstage and he stands up to Zion Quinn. Sangale says he found his next opponent. Nikita Lyons apparently is returning soon. Tony D promotes Stacks and Two Dimes, and the crowd were chanting "Shut the hell up" in relation to Tony D and the guys. I know the narrative is... I'm noticing that with the narrative at the minute. It's like, you know, it's kind of like a little different at the minute, isn't it? But I think what you gotta do is just fucking keep going and not let any of that faze you in any way, even when that does happen, you know what I mean? Tony then tells the family to keep their mouth shut, you know what I'm saying? And then Escobar shakes Tony's hand, but Escobar is doing it in a very kind of like, I don't want to do it kind of fashion, you know what I'm saying? Because Tony D has the final say in the whole thing that's going on there between the two families, you know what I mean? Tony says he deserves a title shot, you know what I mean? I think he does, like, but the crowd is kind of like, yeah, I was listening to the crowd, and when I do the videos, I want to listen to the crowd as well, and take in what they're kind of thinking, and be able to put it into the video, and so yeah. Carmelo Hayes then comes out, you know what I mean? Carmelo says Don of NXT thing is going to his head. He's saying that to Tony D. It's not really going to his head, like, you know, he's being himself in the character, but you know, two of them are cool, you know what I'm saying? Tony says stay out of his business. Tony says Carmelo is not the Don of NXT, do you know what I mean? Tony D was firing shots back at Carmelo Hayes in relation to what was going on, and the words that were being exchanged in relation to the thing, you know what I mean? They issue a match then for the North American Championship, you know what I mean? 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will. Mandy Rose then was backstage, you know what I mean? Like, Toxic Attraction then were backstage with Indy Hartwell as well, and all the boys, you know what I mean, all the girls, shall I say. Braun Breaker went against Duke Hudson and Braun Breaker won him. Yeah, Duke was out there for like a week or two, you know what I mean, and then Braun won him in the end. Braun is the main face of the NXT company thing, you know what I mean. So Cameron Grimes comes out and wants to finish conversation they had earlier. Cameron says if Braun didn't have his dad's name, he wouldn't have the championship. I think there's an element of truth to that in relation to, I guess, nepotism in the wrestling world. Because if you look at like the WWE and all those things, you know, I think if you have family in it, then it is probably a little, you know, there's a leeway there, there's another path there. But maybe when you don't have the name, then it's a little different. I don't know, man. I mean, that's all the narrative too, you know what I'm saying? And I know that'll probably get taken up now, and then there'll be more packages made in relation to the thing. But that's alright. Wow. Everyone knew who Braun's dad was, and no one knew who Cameron was. So Cameron got very passionate about it, and he was getting all emotional about it. But to be honest, I'm kind of chilled about it when I'm looking at it, you know what I mean? I mean, I think it's better to keep to yourself in relation to the world, because the world is full of like people, you know, that can like take advantage of smiliness sometimes. But I don't know, I'm pretty smiley, you know what I mean? You know, when I want to be, you know what I'm saying? The world is weird, I don't know, what's that? One love and all that crack, you know what I'm saying? Cameron then wants to launch the rocket to the moon, you know what I'm saying? That's it's cool, that's his thing, you know what I mean? Roderick then has a match next week with the guy, I think I forgot to write down the name. Giovanni Vinci popped up then. He has the whole tree camera thing, part of the character, you know what I mean? Roderick says Brooke Jensen is a cheater. Von Wagner went against Brooks and he's going against him next week, I think. Giovanni Vinci comes out and the tree photo thing happened. Vinny Vinci, I think it was. Alright. So Giovanni Vinci went against Guru Raj in this one, and I was conflicted there a little bit because Guru Raj had a certain attire too. My brain was like, Giovanni looks like one of the fucking, you know, Italian mob kind of guys, doesn't he? Alright. The fact he looks like an Italian mob guy, you could probably correlate him with Legado or something and have a little thing against him, you know. That's just the thing that's in my head. Because if he looks like an Italian mafia boss, and you have Legado with El Fantasma, who are the Spanish mafia boss, Tony D then has his own Italian mafia thing, doesn't he? You know, I don't know. That's just in the brain that at the minute. You know what I mean? Solo Sikoa done an interview and Grayson Waller interrupts it. Solo wants to face Grayson next. Alright. So yeah, I guess I'm with Grayson there. Grayson says the interviewer knows nothing, and the commentators question whether Grayson will learn from his words. I mean, you could be gone tomorrow, do you know what I mean? Like, I think if you want to say a thing, just make it factual and to the point, no matter what the reaction may be, you know what I mean? And, you know, when it comes to the videos, I'm able to express that really more. But when I go outside, it's a little bit different, you know, I'll be more kind of loose. Well, if I'm in this zone of making a video, I'd rather just try my best to get the point out and hit it, you know what I mean? And if I do that, I feel good about it then, because then it is contributing something in relation to the world, and that feels good. Because other than that, I think if there's no contributions of something, then everything is just meaningless in a way, you know what I mean? But you can always find meaning to something when the mind is locked into the thing, you know what I mean? So, Malik and Idris want to go to the is that what it's called? Cameron Grimes questions whether Idris will get another opportunity for the title. Oh yeah, because Cameron says Idris is not hungry, and Cameron says Idris might waste his talent because of all the clubbing he's doing. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. That's Cameron says he has a lot of talent and he doesn't want to waste his. You know what I mean? And I understand that. I don't want to do like 500 things at the same time, but like, you know, the waste of the world and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Stacks and Two Dimes then go against Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Carmelo and Trick, they won it, obviously, you know what I mean? Because they're the main people, and Stacks and Two Dimes are like the guys that are with Tony, you know what I mean? Tony D says Escobar was meant to help Stacks and Two Dimes, because Escobar is with Legado and Tony D is with his group, but Escobar doesn't like Tony D. So the fact Tony D is saying that to Escobar, that he was meant to help his people, Escobar doesn't like that because he's like on the fence about being in this whole thing. You know what I mean? Indy Hartwell, Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade went against Toxic Attraction. Fair enough, you know what I mean? So the stuff with Indy, all I know about Indy is that she had that whole thing with Dexter before. Roxanne Perez is new, but she's very smiley. Cora Jade is in a few ads, I guess, in the subconscious mind that I've seen in recent times. Wade Barrett then put on his cologne, because Mandy Rose is coming out. You know what I mean? Just, yeah, let's get a bit of spray there. 2 seconds there, right? Alright, that's it. You sure about that, Luke? Alright. Toxic Attraction timeout, and then Roxanne Perez pins Gigi Dolan in the end. AEW Road Rager, this is Dynamite. So they have 2 shows. Dynamite and Rampage are both Road Rager. The Dynamite is Road Rager as well as Rampage. So William Regal calls Jericho a tosspot. Lol. Chris Jericho went against Ortiz in the hair versus hair match. Jericho went for a Hurricane Rana, I think. Fuego helped Jericho and hit Ortiz. And Jericho wins. Yeah, I thought Fuego was actually like in that match when that happened. But when Jericho won, that meant Ortiz had to get his head shaved. But in the end, Ortiz didn't leave somebody shave his head, he did it himself. And he kept saying blood and guts as he was shaving the hair, do you know what I mean? He was just shouting it out like, in a pure like Ortiz way, you know. Fuego in the end was Sammy Guevara, you know what I mean? So yeah, him and Tay got engaged there recently, didn't they? You know what I mean? That's fair play and all that crap, but I'm not siding with you in relation to the storyline that's going on. But now that they're with Jericho, I'm kind of like in a zone of something, you know. Sammy flips off Kingston, you know what I mean? Sammy Guevara flips him off, like, you know, puts up the finger, like, you know. Boo and all that crap, you know what I mean? So I'm obviously siding with Kingston in relation to that. The crowd were chanting Sammy sucks, you know what I mean? In relation to the story, yeah, you know what I mean? Ortiz kept repeating blood and guts. Mark Sterling had a video package, and all I could think of was Judge Judy, you know what I mean? Like Judge Judy back in the day. But this was more like kind of like indie-ish in the way it was packaged and stuff. Wardlow has a new theme song, and it's obviously fucking rocking, you know what I mean? And he's now having his plaintiffs match. I never heard of a plaintiffs match, so I actually don't know really what it is. And so now Wardlow is powerbombing everyone, so all the security, like 20 security guards, went in to try to attack Wardlow. And basically Wardlow is powerbombing all of them with his powerbomb stuff, like when he's doing that thing, you know what I mean? Wardlow then beats all the security, and the case is dismissed. Dan Lambert issues a challenge, and he has Matt Hughes and Tyrone Woodley go to the ring. I was rooting for Tyrone like a year ago against Jake Paul in that whole fight, you know what I mean? Wardlow calls Dan Lambert a rich asshole. I wish, anyway. But Wardlow powerbombs Mark Sterling, and Lambert is freaking out. Matt Hughes and Woodley raise Wardlow's hand, so the 2 of them are with Wardlow. Because Wardlow is like one of the top people now in Dynamite, because he is, like, you know what I mean? Like he has the look and the aura and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Dax Harwood went against Will Ospreay, and to be fair, the crowd looked like they were into the match, like, you know what I mean? I mean, as I said before, I like they're gonna go off that too, and they seem to like it, you know what I mean? And that's fair enough, you know what I mean? Like, so, cool. Will done his hands together thing, that's his thing. And now there was a big scrap. Orange Cassidy came back, and Mox done a promo on Tanahashi. Tanahashi has been ducking him for 3 years apparently. So Moxley says he is the Forbidden Door. Mox says he's been chasing him everywhere. Mox says he's going to call him Ace. What does that mean? Call him Ace. So I don't know the history of that Tanahashi fella, I'll be honest, or New Japan or any of that stuff. In time, I will get a sense of the character of the person when it comes to the story. And then when you get an idea of it, then you're like, oh yeah. Jericho then comes out with Tay and Sammy, and Jericho says Moxley is taking his spot. Jericho says he will burn Moxley's face because he's a wizard, like, you know what I mean? Better watch out there for the wizard, like, because the wizard has all the fire, like, and the powers, you know what I'm saying, like. So, well, hey, wizards and all that crack, you know. Tanahashi tells Jericho to shut up, you know what I'm saying, and Lance Archer and Suzuki go attack Tanahashi. I think they said to attack Tanahashi in relation to the story. Sam and Tay are in the Jericho Appreciation Society now. So Sam and Tay, like, you know, they got engaged there, and I think I seen the thumbnail come up on my phone. I didn't click on the video, it just kind of popped up. And I was like, alright, interesting. You know what I mean? Congratulations, but boo, and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Jericho wants his hands on Eddie Kingston. Eddie and Ortiz come out, and Darby issues a threat to Bobby Fish. Okay, Tony Storm done a promo. To be fair, like, you know, like, compared to the week previous, I thought that was a really good, had really good energy to it in the relation to promo that was being done, you know what I'm saying? So fair play to Tony and all that crack for getting that out in the way she did it. Says Britt Baker is playing games. The Men of the Year had a new team. Ethan Page went against Miro. Miro punches Lambert and says game over, and he won. Good grief. Yeah, I'm getting a bollock in here in the last week, aren't I? In relation to the characters that I side with. Anywho. Tosh versus Anderson. Isn't Tosh the guy from, like, isn't that TV show 2.0 or something? No. I've seen that. One Love and all that crack, you know what I mean? Dante Martin and Matt Sydal done a promo. Britt Baker went against Tony Storm. Thunder Rosa came out and went after Jamie Hayter. I think the fact that Jamie Hayter has a few things in the mind now. She has Tony Schiavone over there, and now she had Thunder Rosa for chasing her out. So surely that would build up a little bit of fuel inside her, as to say, I want to, like, come back in relation to the story, you know, because I don't know, it'd be good to utilise those little things and put it into the story, if you get me. Tony Storm won the match anyway, and then Rosa comes out and challenges Tony Storm for the championship. Two of them are babyfaces, really, aren't they? They're both people that they're siding with in relation to the story. So there's no real kind of heel character here in this match, if they are to go ahead with the match, you know. I think as well, if you're a heel champion, you should make people try and work to get towards you, you know what I mean? If you're a heel, you could be like, ha ha ha, you're not good enough for me, you know what I mean? You can kind of use that narrative, and then say a person is trying to fight to get to the heel, then they have to go through a lot of obstacles in order to get to the championship match that is over there, you know. Stokely Lee Hathaway then was talking to Willow. He used to be called Malcolm Bivens on NXT, you know. Adam Page done a promo, and Adam Cole interrupts and calls Cole a stupid cowboy and congratulates Jay White, you know what I mean? Oh, he calls Page a stupid cowboy. Yeah. Well, obviously, I'll be siding with Page a bit there, you know. Jay White, then, he's the champion of IWGP, I think it is. Jay said that he isn't going to go against Adam Cole for the title. I mean, why? Why not, like? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Jay White then said a switchblade there, though. Do you know what I mean? So, am I feeling things? Are you grabbing my face through the screen when I'm watching this? That's what you want when you're watching the shows, you know. You want to be immersed in the whole experience when it takes place, you know. The Young Bucks went against Jurassic Express then, and the Bucks win, you know what I mean? Express bucking coffee. I like me some cake banoffee. Christian then out of the blue, I thought this was the highlight of the show, like Christian then done a heel turn on Jungle Boy, and he called his family a piece of shit and said that his family raised a piece of shit, you know what I mean? And so I thought that was out of the blue, the way he just done that, you know what I mean? I was like, whoa, this takes me back to like the TNA days and the old WWE days of Ruthless Aggression, you know what I'm saying? So that was like very convincing, and it was just like that, you know what I mean? It was like, That was good, man. You know what I mean? That's what you want. You want that kind of all of a sudden stuff to happen too. Obviously not too often, but yeah, that was the highlight for me in relation to Road Rager on the Dynamite. You know what I mean? So it's Dynamite scope explosion. You know what I'm saying? Where are thou? We're on to SmackDown now, and Mr. McMahon comes out, Vince McMahon, and he says it's a privilege to stand in front of the WWE Universe. Then, now, forever together, and he says, welcome to SmackDown. You know what I mean? You know, that's classic. You know what I mean? Riddle then is taking a trip down memory lane, and Riddle says he loves Randy. Riddle says thank you to him. That was nice, I suppose. Riddle went to get his up Madcap Moss has a new team, and Madcap Moss is against Happy Corbin. When I was tuning in and out of the shows like a year and a half ago, I had certain characters I was siding with. So Happy Corbin, I was always sort of siding with him when it came to the storyline narratives, because he went from like Bum Corbin to Rich Corbin to Bum Corbin to Rich Corbin, and then he got with Madcap, and now it looks like there's a split. Obviously, you know, Madcap is after getting away from the grasp of Happy Corbin in relation to how things are being controlled in terms of his narrative when he's with Corbin. Do you know what I mean? Why did I put down steak? I think somebody had a sign that's about steak. To be honest, I'm more of a chicken guy. I like a bit of poultry, you know what I'm saying? A bit of poultry is more for me. I think steak just has this toughness to it, and it's like, I don't know. I like a creamy dinner, guy. You can't beat a creamy dinner, like, you know what I'm saying? For class, like, you know what I mean? Moss wins the match, and Happy Corbin is crying after the match, and Madcap is laughing at him as he's walking out of the ring in the arena. Says a lot about you, Madcap, you know what I mean? Anyway, Street Profits Senna wanted to smoke, you know what I mean? Corbin wanted to say something, and he says he has known Pat McAfee for a long time. And he says Pat McAfee has been criticising him all the time. Corbin says he needs to watch his mouth, I think I put in. And then Corbin says he will wish Pat was dead or something. Corbin says he will make Pat wish he was dead. So, I mean, that's a narrative, isn't it? Well, that's all happening. And to be honest, you know, when I am reading through these things, I do my best to big you all up, you know what I mean, in relation to what's good, and not tear you down with certain words or present something with a certain narrative that is of a negative connotation. I think you're aware of that and how I'm going through it, you know what I mean? Pat is laughing at Corbin, saying he sucks. Good God, Corbin is getting fucking, like, he's getting buried in this whole thing, isn't he? He's bawling, and like, people are laughing, and I don't know, I mean, what the fuck, like, I don't know. Classic moment, Edge went against Hogan in July 4, 2002. That's a cool memory. Yeah. Natalia done a promo. She said she's going to beat respect into Ronda Rousey. As I said about Ronda, I like the whole Roddy Piper thing. You know what I mean? Like, obviously Roddy Piper goat and all that stuff. I want to fucking feel the thing when I'm watching the thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Says she's going to be the first woman to make Ronda slap. Yeah, I can see why Natalia is getting put into it. I thought she had that good thing with Cora where she slapped Cora, and I had a good conviction to it, and it was kind of like similar to the Christian Jungle Boy thing where you weren't expecting it. Do you know what I mean? Jinder and Shanky went against, who did they go against? Fuck. The New Day, isn't it? Xavier Woods, oh yeah, I think something happened here as well. Did I write it down? I don't know if I did. As Corbin was walking out as well, Xavier Woods and the New Day were laughing at Corbin. That says a lot about she as well, you know what I mean? I mean, fucking hell, you know what I mean? Big boys, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right, you know what I mean? I don't believe at laughing at a guy when he's down, you know what I mean? Or kicking a man when he's down, you know what I'm saying? I'm all about you gotta big him up, like, you know what I'm saying? And be honest in your brain about stuff. Because everything is just things happening at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Xavier Woods' trumpet makes Shanky dance and it annoys Jinder, and the New Day pin Jinder in the end. When Shanky was doing all this crack-a-jack, Jinder wasn't happy about it. You know what I mean? The Viking Raider has done a video package, and Drew McIntyre comes out. Sheamus tells Butch to stay. People are now saying Sheamus sucks. Wow, this is like madness, isn't it? I mean, like, I don't know, I don't even know what to decide with there in relation to that now. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to read between the lines when it comes to media as well. When you're looking at the media, even around the wrestling, the shows that they show after the shows are over, and what kind of TV shows they would show. Like the other night I was looking at Dynamite, right? And when I was looking at Dynamite, they showed like superhero movies and like stuff like that, like afterwards, or like some real life type of stuff in relation to the shows that were going on. They showed a thing the other night called Girls Gone Wild or something, and your man, like, it's meant to be a guy that, like, was hitting his peak at a certain point. And then, like, when the whole thing went a different way, things went a different way. And that's the narrative they're now pushing when it comes to what they're showing. And I don't know, it's, and apparently he found a niche too in relation to the story. And I'm able to read between the lines when it comes to that stuff, because I know the internet is a lie. Because when you look at all the media stuff that's out there in relation to how the content is presented, it's all a facade, like, you know what I mean? It's all like how it's packaged and put out there in relation to how it's presented, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Adam Pearce says Sheamus is in. He's in the Money in the Bank match. But Drew attacked Sheamus because Drew is not feeling really happy about that. He feels upset and angry at the fact that Sheamus has gone in through Adam Pearce, you know what I mean? Drew is also in the Money in the Bank match, and Drew gives Sheamus a Claymore. I'm so in the middle now with some of these things, I don't know. Sammy says he's an honorary use. You're not an honorary use, but you know what I mean? And I keep saying it, like, you keep saying you're an honorary use, but like, you're Sammy, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not. He doesn't love you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he really doesn't, like. He will love you for a certain period of time. And then the narrative will flip once he gains the trust of you know what I'm saying? So you gotta watch out for that, like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Kayla looks at Sammy like... And then Sammy had to go for the piss, you know what I mean? Because he was waiting outside Roman Reigns' door, trying to talk with him. I don't know what you're doing, you know what I mean? You're your own man, you know what I'm saying? Because the second he gains your trust, it will go a different way. It will flip, you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, you're great, boy. And then it'll go... That's just the way it'll go, you know what I mean? Raquel Rodriguez is a very smiley human as well. She went against Shayna Baszler, and Layla as well. She had a very deep story with her family when it came to her father and her background. I thought that was a nice story. I don't know why I'm bigging everything up. Will that get squashed? Who knows? It's a weird world that I'm narrating on. But yeah. Raquel Rodriguez won in the end and Layla clapped in the commentary desk. It's fair enough. I mean, I'm in the middle there with all of it. Max Dupree was backstage then with Adam Pearce, you know what I mean? And Max was giving out about the lighting and the stuff from the front. Because Max wanted the perfect lighting for his models to go out to the ring. And in the end, they didn't even put out any of the models, did they? He was backstage with Adam Pearce talking to him, and Adam Pearce was like, apparently people were meant to go to the ring to be the model of Max Dupree in relation to the story, and I don't think that I've seen any, I don't know, it was like nobody, it was like the light was down in the ring, you know what I mean, it was like a spotlight thing, you know. Tentillate the juices, you know what I'm saying, that's what Max said, tentillate the juices, like, you know what I'm saying. Kayla Braxton then is interviewing Gunther, and Ludwig was talking, very royal, you know what I mean. Is that the right word to use for them? Because they do come across very royal. I think it's the right terminology. Ludwig says Ricochet embodies everything wrong with America and will never be held by an American ever. Riddle went against Roman Reigns. Roman says, "Where you at, Randy?" And he runs the place. Oh, because Roman was after, like, yeah, that was good. He like looked right at the camera and he was like very convincing in how he said the thing. Because he wants to... I say Randy's the only guy that would match up with Roman in relation to the story and how the matches would play out, you know. I knew before this match Riddle wasn't going to win the match, you know what I mean? Roman Reigns wins it in the end, and he says there was no one left to him, I think. He says they wrecked Riddle, they wrecked everyone, so he has no one else to face now in relation to the story and how it's going to pan out. Out of the blue then, Brock Lesnar comes out at the end, and he stares at Roman. He's looking directly at Roman now. So Brock wants a bit of Roman in relation to the story, you know what I mean? So Brock takes his hat off and puts out his hand. I think that's right then. He wanted to shake Roman's hand. Roman went to shake it, and Brock is giving F5s now to everyone. He gave it to the Usos and he gave it to Roman. So Brock now is back with the Bangles, you know what I'm saying? He's back, he wants to fucking like take on Roman in relation to the story, you know what I'm saying? So yuppo lot, you know what I mean? AEW Rampage now, Road Rager. Jericho says Blackpool is a dump and everyone there is stupid. John Moxley went against Dante Martin, and Moxley wins. Dante is the high-flying fella, and Moxley loves the blood, and he's all like, you know, he's pure into, I guess, the indies stuff too with the wrestling, you know what I mean? Tony Schiavone with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland backstage, and there's tension between Hobbs Starks and Swerve and Lee. Hobbs and Starks there stars, like, I think, in the thing. Well, Lee and Swerve are good too, but I think Hobbs and Starks are like, you know, for me, if I was doing the brackets, they'd be the top bracket. You know what I mean? Penta says Malachi is nothing but a clown and impersonating a bad guy. I'm not picking you up again, boy. You know what I mean? Fucking hell. You know when you're saying that to Malachi, there's another connotation to that when you're saying it. You know what I mean? Pac says, send Malachi back to the Netherlands. Strange, gangly creep. Is there any need? I don't know. I mean, you really pick your character, don't you, to do it though, don't you? Fucking hell. That was that. Yeah, I'm siding with Malachi in that whole thing. The words that were said, they were very disgusting, really, weren't they? You know what I mean? Yeah. Anywho. Oh, the Acclaimed are with the ass boys against Beer Country, and they do their shtick when they come out, and yeah, they're all scissoring and all that crack, doing the scissors, and alright. Hook was backstage and he didn't talk. Danhausen and Hook were conversating backstage. I think Hook was saying he would deal with a thing, and then Danhausen was like, you know, that kind of thing. So, Willow Nightingale went against Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill is Jericho's Sports Entertainer of the Week. This is very random, isn't it? You know, that's kind of out of the blue, like, how that's after happening. Jade wins the match. I mean, it's kind of clear she was going to win the match before the match even happened, because Willow Nightingale, I don't know much about the layers of the character, I guess, of her, but yeah, Jade won that. Athena comes out and she is now with Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. Chris is an alien. Athena still don't know a lot about the character, but you know, Willow then, you know. Jay Little calls Samoa Joe a lazy champion. I don't know, Joe will have to have a response to that now, like, alright. But obviously siding with Joe there in relation to that storyline narrative, you know what I mean? Darby Allin was against Bobby Fish then, they were backstage talking and it was time for the main event and all that crack. That's Mark Henry's saying, you know, time for the main event. And Bobby was getting into the face of the fans and everything, there was a good heat in that, like, you know what I mean? And Darby Allin wins and Bobby retaliates and calls out Kyle O'Reilly. Sting comes out and low blows Kyle O'Reilly with a bat, and Sting attacks Bobby Fish's leg. I'm siding with O'Reilly and Fish in that. I mean, Sting was one of the guys I grew up watching in the TNA days, so that's weird, isn't it?